Then the chill night erupts with laughter, piñatas, and the music of a San Antonio Christmas. What about the future? After 50 years, Paseo del Rio is successful. But what about the many miles of raw riverfront that remains untouched? The big thing to remember is that the river is still a river, and flood control remains a big problem. How can the rest of the river be made safe without destroying its special qualities? Fred Pfeiffer of the San Antonio River Authority faces that difficult question every day.
Civilizations, I guess most cities, settled on rivers because rivers sustained life in the early days. Of course, most of the structures of houses that were built along the river are not very permanent in their structures. But as times progressed, cities built up, watersheds built up. Things that weren't much of a problem tended to be a problem. There are several kinds of flood control. The containment, holding the flood. This is the typical build a dam, hold the water during the flooding period, and letting it go in a safe manner after the flood is over. Of course, there's the diking to hold it within channels, and there's channelization. Channelization is probably the most efficient method of removing flood water through an urban area. Of course, it has its drawbacks. When you channelize, you widen and deepen and straighten the meanders of the river. You remove the native growth. Obviously, this can create problems, and a lot of times when you get through, most of the times, you don't have a river that really looks too much like a river. You take out the trees that are there along the banks, and you have a pretty stark channel. When we get through channelizing, we try to come in and soften this starkness by putting in walkways and replanting trees. We hope we're doing a good job, and we, of course, want to work with the neighborhood residents. But of course, we have to move the floodwater, and that's the compromises we have to make.
Its opposition to destruction of the river has created a unique place in this city, and they are proud of it. And as someone said, if you don't know where you've been, you probably don't know where you're going. With that as a motto, San Antonio is finding new life for some neglected architecture along the river. To the south, the beautiful King William neighborhood is being restored. Its elegant homes sit like regal memories on the riverbank. And along the northern stretches of the river, a sturdy old industrial complex that once held a brewery is being redesigned as an art museum, complete with riverside gardens. And maybe someday, water taxis will ease on downriver to Paseo del Rio. As the river leaves the city, flows south, heading to the Gulf of Mexico, it widens, slows down. It gives one time to think about the story we've just floated through. Like most good stories, it leaves questions. What makes a place special? Why should so many ordinary people do such extraordinary things for a tiny river? One lady who has lived here all her life has some nice ideas about those questions.
When I view the river, the beautiful San Antonio River, in the town where I was born and have lived all of my life, I try to ferret what is the meaning of the river? What is the significance of that river? Psychologists and psychiatrists tell us, and rightly so, that the ancient Orientals were correct, that just to be around water is therapeutic because it offers an ambience and an atmosphere for contemplation and meditation. And certainly in the frantic life most of us live, Western man in the 20th century, we need that. I'm Amy Freeman Lee. You know, it's a funny thing. I've been in love with water all of my life. I don't really know why. Maybe it was because I grew up down on the Guadalupe River, just about 30 miles east of here, although I was born in San Antonio. And to me, the river and San Antonio have always been one. Many of the aspects of the river fascinate me because physically and psychologically and spiritually, it has so many depths to it. David Henry Thoreau said about water that in all of nature you must never look just at the surface of anything, that human beings, in order to ascertain reality, we always have to look beneath the surface, into the core, into the essence, if we're to know what anything is. And we must hold it always, not only in the palm of our hands, but in the palm of our hearts, and cherish it forever, for it will nourish the spirit of this city as it has done from the beginning.
Well, it's been a long trip. We've traveled down 14 miles of changing river, coursing through a changing city. We've crossed 250 years, catching glimpses of the past and thinking about the present and wondering about the future. San Antonio is a remarkable city. And as Miss Emily Edwards said, the San Antonio River has always been the soul and heart of the city. But each of our cities has a soul and a heart, a reason for being a place where people agree to live together. Then why is this place special? Why is it unique and unforgettable? The lesson here is simple. While every city has a heart, not every city's people take the time to remember, to nurture, to care for that heart. No matter where the city began, in the mountains, by a river, or on the flat plains, cities are made by people. And it is only with patience, hard work, and loving care that an ordinary city can grow to be a special place.